Even today, Muslim women continue to dominate multiple fields: politics, education, health, science, commerce in Muslim societies. The president of Indonesia is the first Muslim female president of Indonesia. The prime minister of Tunisia, the prime minister of Turkey, a computer scientist at the University of Cambridge, Anousheh Ansari, the first Muslim space explorer and astronaut, Malala Yousafzai, the youngest Muslim girl to have won the Nobel Peace Prize. Excellencies, women have played and continue to play a significant role in Pakistan. Our founding father, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, observed that there are two powers in this world, one the sword and the other the pen. However, there is a third power stronger than both, that of women. Pakistani women have played an outstanding role in our nation's history. The Quaid-e-Azam's sister was at the forefront of our independence struggle and struggle for democracy. Pakistan prides itself that we were the first to elect a female prime minister and head of government, Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. While addressing the World Conference in September 1995, Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto said, "I come before you to speak of the forces that must shape the new decade, the new century, the new millennium. We must shape a world free from exploitation and maltreatment of women, a world in which women have opportunities to rise to the highest level of politics, business, diplomacy, and other spheres of life, where there are no battered women, where honor and dignity is protected in war and conflict." And as Prime Minister, she convened the first ever conference of women parliamentarians of the Muslim world. She launched a public awareness campaign against domestic violence in Pakistan. She called for an end to the social ill of the dowry system. She focused on primary education for girls, on training women teachers, on opening employment opportunities for women. She lifted the ban on women's participation in sports, and in 1989, she set up the first women's bank, the first women's police station, lady health workers. And today, our major cities are marked by thousands of enterprises set up by women. Women in Pakistan have held prominent positions in every facet of life, as cabinet ministers, as the governor of the state bank, speaker of the National Assembly, foreign minister, prime minister, judges in the superior judiciary, as well as federal and provincial secretaries, police officers, army generals, fighter pilots, ambassadors, and UN peacekeepers. Like countries around the world, we have made progress, and like countries around the world, we face many challenges, many problems that we have to still overcome today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is our mission to ensure that it is my mission to ensure that my mother's demand for the rights of women and men of Pakistan is fulfilled, and the right to justice and equality, freedom and prosperity. In the recovery from last year's devastating floods in Pakistan, our government has not only led efforts of relief and reconstruction, but much of our efforts in relief and reconstruction are targeted around the women who are the most affected, the most devastated by this natural disaster. We've given out cash grants through the Benazir Income Support Program to women as part of the reconstruction and rebuilding of homes in the province of Sindh. We're going to give property rights to the women of the household, and we will endeavor to further enlarge the support programs targeted to women based on women's empowerment through financial independence, employment creation, and educational opportunities. And we will not relent in confronting oppression, repression, and discrimination against women. Excellencies, in the context of the progressive and enlightened message of Islam, it is but natural for Pakistan and other OIC countries to express our deep disappointment at the restrictions imposed on human rights of women and girls, especially their right to education and work, in Afghanistan. These restrictions are contrary to the injunctions of Islam. I sincerely urge the Afghan interim government to reverse these restrictions and enable the women of Afghanistan to make their full and invaluable contribution to the development and progress of their nation. Excellencies, nor can we ignore the plight of millions of Muslim women living in non-Muslim countries who face obstacles in the enjoyment of their rights, including their rights to freedom of religion. The ban on the hijab in some countries is a denial of their freedom. We must counter the denial of religious and cultural rights to Muslim women in all societies, including non-Muslim societies, and negative stereotyping and discrimination against Muslim women. These are manifestations of Islamophobia. Nor can we forget the suffering of Muslim women in situations of conflict and foreign occupation, such as in Palestine and occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, women are the fountainhead of any civilization. They are the bedrock of a family, of a society, and thus of civilization itself. No nation can truly progress without the social, political, legal empowerment of its women. The role of women in the economic development is pivotal to a nation's progress and prosperity. Inspired by the precepts of Islam and the glowing examples of Islamic history, the OIC member states should lead the way in building a common future for humanity, where the empowerment of women and gender parity underwrite a new, peaceful, prosperous, and inclusive world order. I thank you. I now invite the President of the General Assembly to deliver his remarks.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Minister, Madam Executive Director, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm honored to join this morning's event among such a distinguished group. My gratitude to Minister Bilawal Bhutto for initiating this important conversation under the CSW's theme of technology and innovation for achieving gender equality. I particularly look forward to learning from you and from eminent women here with us today. While a number of scholars keep pointing out that the Islamic law in many situations gives preference to the protection of the interests of women and children, women in Muslim countries are often perceived as having an unequal status to men. I will be very interested to hear where you see the gaps between the perception and reality, and what your countries will do to fully ensure women's rights. As we have just heard from the very eloquent introduction by Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. I'm particularly grateful for him, for his appeal just heard to the leadership of Afghanistan to ensure the respect of rights of women and girls in that part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we can agree that in different degrees, gender inequality persists in every country, irrespective of religion. Many girls and women in everyday practice continue to face serious human rights violations, ranging from child and early marriage to gaps in access to justice and the denial of their right to education. It is therefore the responsibility of all countries to help women and girls be able to use their potential in all spheres of life.